Hey everybody, welcome to the Age Group Triathlon podcast and a happy new year. Welcome to 2026. Yes, there is something, I'm not a big fan of New Year's. I don't think that, we should be putting off making sort of choices and decisions until the 1st of January, generally speaking. I think you should act when you want to act, but you can't help but feel the possibilities in the air this time of year. For most of us, we are looking to sort of the year ahead of training and racing. And at the moment, anything feels possible. And it's an excellent time to capitalise on that and really sort of make the most of this general kind of optimism and enthusiasm that comes at this time of year. Now, I am here today to announce the launch of my free online triathlon club. This is something that I've been working on for some time, and I'm ready to launch it today. You can head down into the show notes of the episode and you can find out how to join. There is a URL that you can follow. It will take you to a page where you can stick your email address and your name in. That's all it takes. No credit card details. Just your email address and your name. And from there, you should get an email that will then point you in the direction of downloading the app. Now, you don't need to use the app. The app is completely optional. If you would prefer to be minimalist with your phone, you can access it through the web browser. But I imagine that a number of people would like to be able to access it on the go. Now, the reason that I have created an app for this is that sort of the most common alternatives are Facebook groups where things tend to get lost in the algorithm. You miss important posts and announcements, or WhatsApp groups. And I don't know about anybody else, but I'm already in enough WhatsApp groups. I don't need any more filling up my phone and where I'm, again, missing what could be important messages. Now, the club is built around the idea of community. I want people to be sharing their wins. I want people to be motivating each other, hyping each other up. But as well as that, I'm also including a free weekly swim set every week. So this is a swim set that you can go and you can complete in your own time. And, wherever you are, whatever sort of times you're available, you can go out and you can complete this swim set that I will be writing every single week. And you can come back and you can report on how the swim set went. You can chat with others who completed the set at the same time, to share how you all got on with it. I know it's never going to be the same as joining a group swim and sharing a lane with others. But it can really help you give some structure to your swimming. And even if you are an experienced swimmer, it could be nice to have some new sets to come along to play with. Add a bit of variety to your training. I also have a coach question answer board, so you can head into that section and you can ask me one question a week, which can be anything that you want, that you're obviously happy to share in that public domain there. And I'll come back and I will, be able to help you. Obviously, I may not be able to give the world's most detailed response, and I may not be able to respond immediately because, I have a lot of other things that I'm juggling. But it is your chance to be able to reach out to me to ask a question without feeling that you're really inconveniencing me by sending me an email. Now, a lot of communities, they have a habit of, one of two things would generally happen. Either they will be sort of controlled by a committee, a sort of a classic triathlon club, and there becomes a lot of, bureaucracy and politics that comes with that. Or these clubs have a tendency to turn slightly toxic. Now, the way I'm going to avoid that is that as the sole person in charge of the club, I'm going to be very reactive to any changes, I'm going to consider all requests that come my way. But I'm also going to moderate it relatively heavily. If somebody is being abusive, if somebody's putting others down, if there's any sort of misogyny, misandry, homophobia, racism, anything like that kicking off that's going to make people uncomfortable, you're out. It's a positive space, okay? We're not going to be discussing politics, okay? We're going to be sharing our own experiences, our own racing, our training, all the positives that come with it. It's not about toxic positivity. It's not about pretending everything's perfect all the time. But I want to make sure that I can keep it as drama-free as possible and to keep it focused on performance rather than us getting ourselves tied up in knots and unable to see the wood for the trees. If you join the club, you will also be able to save 10% off all of my training plans and my courses. You won't be able to save off of my premium coaching, because that is something that, it takes up a lot of my time. However, all of my sort of off-the-shelf products, you can save 10% off as a club member. Now, as you engage with the community, as you complete challenges, I'm going to be adding not only the swim set, but other general kind of fitness and triathlon challenges in there. As you manage to complete these, you will be able to earn yourself points. As you comment on other people's posts, as you share your posts, you will collect points. And if you collect enough, you'll be able to get free ebooks, some of my free coaching courses. And if you really contribute, if you keep turning up and you keep sharing, then you are going to be able to get free one-to-one coaching with me. So this could be a nutrition consultation. This could be a swim stroke analysis. It could be a strength and conditioning mobility assessment. Okay, any of my one-to-one products, you will be able to redeem for points which you earn in the community. And the reason for this is that I want this community to thrive. I want people to keep sharing, to keep turning up, and to have reason to do so. Now, I think we've all been to a party or a night out where the DJ starts playing the music and everybody's kind of, stood around kind of awkwardly making small talk, with their drinks. And you just need one or two people to get on the dance floor and start shaking their stuff for the party to actually get started. And as this group is launching today, we are going to be in that awkward stage of the party, aren't we? Where there are people, not quite enough people, but we're all stood around, feeling a little bit awkward, sort of making eye contact, smiling politely, waiting for someone to take charge. Now, I'm going to be posting in the group, I'm going to be sharing a lot, but I would love it if you can join this club and you can start asking your questions. You can start sharing your goals. You can start sharing the training sessions you're really proud of. Because it's only once people start sharing that this will start to snowball. So I really am imploring you, I would really appreciate it if you can come on there, you can interact, hopefully that first week is going to be really critical. We get a little bit of a community going. I also plan in time. I've got ideas. It would be great to get a club kit made up. If we manage to get, a good sort of 1,000 people in the club, which I don't think is impossible. Okay, if we keep building it together, if we get 1,000 people together, and people could turn up to races in the club kit. That's going to be great because you're going to be able to identify people who are out there while it is that you're racing. You can give them a cheer. It could be, really something quite special that we build. I'd like to get to the point where we can organise group rides on Zwift. So we can all turn up at the same time, or we can just have it on a drop-in basis. On Sunday, we can have members who can sort of act as ride leaders. We can also head out and sort of do a big loop together, or we can all sort of do laps and do drop-ins. I'll be using the club feature on Strava, so you can follow each other on Strava and give each other encouragement. Going to be using the club feature on Zwift to allow us to have these group rides. Might start doing some group workouts at some point. I think there is a lot of potentially exciting things that we can do, because looking around on the internet, I can't find an awful lot of other people who are doing something similar to this. And here's the kicker. If you sign up to the club, because it's registered with Ironman, if you sign up to this club and you input it as your club when you sign up to an Ironman race, that is a branded Ironman race. Once enough club members have signed up to do Ironman races, we get a free club entry. That is a free Ironman race. And that is a race that I will be hosting a competition of sorts. I'm not sure exactly how we'll do it. I'm going to be hosting a competition for you to win free Ironman race entries. Now, I'm not overly salesy as a person. This is probably the most salesy you ever hear me. But I just want you to be able to make the most of these free benefits in exchange for, getting involved with the community. Now, you may already be a member of a triathlon club and think, well, Simon, I'm not sure if I can join your triathlon club because I'm already a member of one. Well, you don't need to worry. Okay, because the way that British Triathlon works is different to England Athletics. Okay, you can be a member of multiple triathlon clubs. You may have one that is deemed to be sort of your first claim club, but you don't need to worry about there being any clash. You don't need to worry about there being any conflict of interest. I may register the club with British Triathlon at some point. Honestly, I've had a look through the benefits of being a British Triathlon registered club. At the moment, it's not jumping out at me as being something that I think would be overly beneficial for the sort of an online club. However, if there are enough people, if there is demand for it, then I will absolutely consider getting ourselves registered with British Triathlon, which will then allow you to access the British Triathlon member benefits for being in a club. Now, I imagine a lot of you be sat there thinking, go on, Simon, what's the catch? Why is it that you're putting so much time, energy, and effort into this? Well, same reason I sort of record this podcast, really. You know, I love the sport of triathlon. I want more people to get involved. I want to help them. But also, if somebody's looking for a coach, if somebody's looking for a training plan, I want to be in the forefront of their minds. And if they know somebody who's thinking of getting into triathlon, ask if anyone knows a coach. You know, I want people to think, oh, actually, you know what? I do know a guy, he's a member of this online he runs this online triathlon club. You know, you might want to look at what he does. Now, as a result of this, I can guarantee that this club will always be free. It's not a case of getting people on board and then deciding that you're going to charge money for something that was previously free. That's not the way that I work. That's not the way I'm going to do things. And due to the fact that, you know, over the long term, this might start generating some income and some leads for me, there aren't going to be any ads. There's not going to be any sponsorships. I'm not going to be trying to plug things, okay? This is going to be organic. This is going to be for the community. I know the vast majority of members are never going to pay me a penny. That doesn't matter, okay? I want to create this community because I want to help more people access and enjoy the sport of triathlon. Now, at the moment, the way that I've got it all set up, we have, you know, just a few areas where people can write messages. If the club gets larger, if we get a lot of people on board, I may end up creating a free optional area for people who are first-time Ironman athletes, or first-time short course athletes, or maybe experienced Ironman athletes. You know, I may end up sort of segregating the club slightly to make sure that people are able to sort of share messages with people who have similar goals, so that we can have sort of these smaller sub-communities around. And again, if we have a lot of people on, we may go, okay, can we get a show of hands? Who's training for Ironman Leeds? Who's training for Ironman Nice? You know, who here is qualified for Kona or looking to qualify for Kona, and who are we going to stick inside a separate group so that we can have people who can sort of find out, oh, you know, we've got 40 people in this group who are all training for the same race. Okay, well, where do you live? Oh, there's a group of 4 of us who live within sort of a 50-mile radius of the event. Maybe we can go out and do loops on the bike course together. Hopefully it can help you find community, both virtually and in real life. I think I've rattled on for long enough. So, I'm going to point you into the direction of the show notes, where you'll be able to find the page that allows you to sign up if you have any problems. Just drop me an email, that's down in the show notes, and I'll be able to sort you out and point you in the right direction. Hopefully I'll see you in the club, but even if I don't, have a fantastic 2026. I really am wishing you the very best with your season of triathlon racing ahead. Happy New Year, and enjoy.